What's going on, guys? As some of you may know, I've been wanting to put out videos for a long time. I talk about it all the time. I just never get to do it because I don't have the equipment. I'm always worried about the quality, the audio, all that nonsense. But finally, I'm saying fuck it. I'm gonna try to screen record, and the audio slightly delayed. That's my bad. There's nothing I can do about it right now. Um, but here I have a list of everyone that was ranked in the most recent ranking, and I've removed I've changed the criteria a little bit so that I can just talk about the U.S. and Canada. So no Mexico, no Japan, no South America, and no retired players. So I'm gonna just go side by side and put who I think is the best in order, specific tiers. Has nothing to do with results, just like from me watching, from me playing, some kind of combination of both. And here on the right side, I have a list of online players. Um, these are just players that are in my Discord DMs, and I kind of wanted to include some of online to give some perspective on what I think, like how they match up with console players if they were to play at that same level. Some of them feel they already do. So let's start with number one, who I think is the best. I'm gonna go with Isaiah. Put him at number one. I think Isaiah is still slightly ahead of everybody, but I will put him in the same tier as Kiro and Wizrobe. I put Kiro above Wizrobe um, just because I think Kiro is really fucking good, and I don't think it always shows in his tournament performance. He's like, you know, he's perfect when it comes to consistency, but I think his peaks are higher than what has been shown. Wizrobe is slightly out of practice right now, but this is not why I have him third. I think even if he was in practice, I still think that Hero's a little bit better than him as a player. So I'll leave it there. As far as that tier goes, not much to say about that. I think Isaiah is the best still, and I think he's slightly above Kiro and Wizrobe, but not enough to put him outside of this tier. All right, so next, and by the way, on the left, that is the order if I were to remove everybody from the rankings. So this is the order that they were ranked in. But you're going to see a lot of different, you're going to see a lot of differences for how I rank them. Next year, I think it's some combination of me, Josh, KD3, um, Hammerheart, Robert, LD, and Jaime, and Hero Pie. So again, I want people to remember this is just my opinion. This has nothing to do with results. This has nothing to do with any objective points. I will definitely put myself at the top of this list. I just think I'm better than everybody, and I don't mean that in like a cocky way or an arrogant way. I just think about how I play the game, how I think about the game, and if I were to put my all where I think I would be. And there are glimpses of that where I do try my best, and I think I am above these guys. Anyways, not to talk too much about myself. Then I would put Josh. And some people are probably wondering why don't I have KD3 above Josh or KD3 above myself. I do think that people would probably put Josh and KD3 above me right now, and they would probably put KD3 above Josh as well. So I think a lot of people would put KD3 at the top of this list. Recently, he's been on fire. He beat Wario. He won Apex. But as far as player goes, I think if I were to put Josh and KD3 in the same tournament 100 times, I think Josh would win out. And I think there's a lot of game-specific things that Josh is just consistently better at right now than KD3. And that's not to knock him at all. Next, I would put Hammerheart. I think Hammerheart, he's a great player, especially versus the field, which is why I have him above Jaime. I think Jaime does probably better versus me. He would probably do better versus me, KD3, and Josh if we were to run like the same tournament over and over again than Hammerheart would. But I think Hammerheart versus the rest of the field would just be better than Jaime because Hammerheart has a really, really high floor. And he also has really good peaks at times. So then I would put Hero Pie. And I want to put Hero Pie above Jaime. But because I don't get to see Hero Pie enough, This is strictly, this has, I don't even know Hero Pie's placements if I'm being honest. But when I watch this guy play, I'm like, holy fuck, he is good. So that's why I have him this high. And some people are probably wondering, why don't you have Sheeman up here? He's also West Coast. You don't see him that often. And he's got top 8 at SmashCon. You know, he beat Kiro. He's historically done pretty well. But this is strictly going off of feel. So I don't think when I look at Sheeman play that I see his level of play be as high as Hero Pie. I think Hero Pie, if we saw more of him, he would be doing a lot of good shit. And I think he's a better player than, you know, even LD, who has great results historically. But LD's been getting kind of pwned. So despite LD getting pwned, I would put him in this tier. I think he's lost like almost every time to Hammerheart. Jaime has beaten him. At this point, I beat him recently. Josh has historically beaten him, but I think his skill level is good enough to where he should be in this tier. And if you want to separate a little bit the tiers, it's not that big of a deal. Just overall how I feel. All right, so we have that tier is done. Next, let's see who we have. So this next tier is where it gets tricky, right? I personally don't really look at rankings as far as like once it gets past like the top 15 ish, I'm like it doesn't really matter because there's such small events. There's a small number of events. That's a better way to put it. That somebody can have a bad event, or you know they're not used to console, or whatever the case may be. Like we don't see them enough, so they don't get ranked to where they truly are as far as skill, which is that's the whole point of tournaments, right? You go off results. So here I would put Finio. You guys are probably thinking, what the fuck? Finio? Yes, Finio is that fucking good. And then, I mean, he's 21 here, so it's not even that off the mark for me to put him here, right? Then I would go all the way down to 27, and I would put Dogs Johnson. And after that, I would put SKG. And after that, I would put SKG. There's one more person. I mean, I've made this video a couple times now, so I'm trying to remember. Finio, Dogs Johnson, SKG. Oh, CTG. But do I want to put CTG there? No, I do not. CTG would probably be in the next tier. Oh, Sheeman. That's who I'm thinking about. Right. So Sheeman, I would not actually put at the top of this list. When I watch him play versus when I watch other people play, when I play versus him, which is not often, but you know, he came to New York recently. I played great player, obviously. But when I play other players and then I watch them and you know their thought process, I think Finio, Dogs, and SKG are all better than Sheeman. Finio I would put at the top because I think he's just super slept on, and Dogs Johnson is right there. You know, if somebody were to say Dogs is better than Finio or SKG, or better than Finio, I would not be like, oh, you're crazy. Same tier, just how it goes. And then the next tier, I would put EG, CTG, Raichu, Quapples. This is not in order yet, by the way. This is just me typing out as I'm reading. Raichu. Don't know if Janitor is in that tier. Loda I would put in this tier. EG, Y-Bomb, Okay. Alright, so yeah, this is what I think the next tier would be, right? So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to space it out a little bit so that I can add some online players. I think Frey is in this tier, if I had to put him anywhere. I would put him, if I had to put him somewhere, put him right here. Right below SKG. Only reason I put him below SKG Dogs and Finio is because I'm kind of thinking of the head-to-heads here, right? I think that Finio Dogs and SKG would probably beat Frey in the head-to-head, but we don't really know because we don't get to see him often. Frey's Falcon is really good. He could beat Dogs and the Falcon Ditto, maybe. He could beat Finio's Pika, but if Frey were to go just Ness, I don't think Dogs or SKG would lose to Frey's Ness. Maybe Finio would lose. Finio has historically not been great versus Ness. So there's that. And then I would put Caleb here at the top of this list. I don't think he's quite at the level above. And then I would put Revan right below Caleb. Maybe Revan before Caleb, honestly. Then I would put Ray under EG, CTG. I'll put a couple Quapples before CTG. And then I would put Lodo right after CTG. All these. Okay, here we go. Boom. Let's see if I see anyone here that is worthy of being in this tier. I think if American Patriot were to play better characters, I think he would be right here. I actually think he would be higher than this, if I'm being honest. I think he would probably be right after Quapples. Now, I know some people are probably thinking Lodo's too low here. What the fuck? Lodo's a god. I think Lodo's really good at the game, but I do think that the way that he plays Falcon does not, it doesn't foster good consistency, right? So he might have a really high peak, but if I were to put these guys all in a tournament, I think that the guys above him would have better tournaments overall than him, on average. I'd also put Fire Blaster in this tier, and I would put him right here. Fire Blaster recently beat Caleb, but I'd still put him underneath Caleb. The same way I'd put Finio above Dogs, even though Dogs beat Finio last time they played. And I think SKG beat Dogs last time they played on console. So as you can see, it's not really only head-to-head or only tournament. It's also just how I feel overall versus the field, how they would do. So I'm going to go to the next tier. And I feel like in the next tier, I can put someone like Antoine, just to add people. And then I'll go through it as I go. Antoine. This is a mistake. Hold on. I would also put Janko in this tier. And I would put Janko probably above Fire Blaster. No, above Caleb too. I think Janko is a better player than Caleb overall. That might not show always, but I think if Janko were to play, one character only and he really focused, I think his potential is higher than Caleb's. So we got Antoine, we got Andykins. At this point, Andykins is probably in the tier above right now, so I'd probably put. This is just a big tier. Just the lower you go. Let me just move all these guys up here in the same tier. Andykins. Though I do feel like Antoine is slightly below these guys. I would put Andykins probably above CTG right now. But I do think that American Patriot is probably better. Alright. So then we got players like Antoine, Hotline. Don't know what's going on with Cobra, but I can see him in this list. Beef. Let's Go is actually very solid, and I could be underrating him here, but I don't play him, and I don't watch him play enough. But from what I've watched, very, very solid player. Don't know enough about D-Boss, so I'm not going to put him. You can see Caesar being on this in this tier. Dogs, Fire Blaster, Wolf. Don't know enough about Weed Wax, so I'm not going to put him. Spongy. Don't know enough about Paco. I know enough about Yobalite to put him in the next tier, so I'll do that. Roman, formerly known as Zantetsu. I would put him. Let's see, Antoine, Hotline, Cobra, Beef, Let's Go, Caesar, Spongy. I would put him in this next tier. And sorry, Roman, if you're pissed at me, but I would need to see more from you. I'm not a fan of just giving people, just saying people are this good. It's the same reason why I don't know where I would put Stranded, right? I can see Stranded, if he were to play his main characters, I could see him doing really well, potentially beating somebody like a Wizrobe, potentially beating someone like, I don't think he could beat Kiro anymore, but beating somebody like myself, Josh, KD3, HaimeHR. But I could also see him playing Pika Falcon and, playing his mains and just getting beat by somebody like an SKG or somebody like a Dogs or a Finio or anybody in this tier, because we truly do not know. And a lot of the times people like to say, Stranded, he would just be, so fucking good. But the whole point of going to tournaments is that you prove that you're that good, and we haven't seen that from him in a long time. He goes Fox, and he'll do well, but then he'll lose to somebody like, Antoine, who's down here, solid player, but can we really just blame that on the character? I would like to see, if he were to go Pika or Falcon, how he would do versus players, in this tier and in this tier above. Maybe even versus somebody like an EG or like a Revan or a Loda. We don't know. So then we have players like Bo, who I think is really fucking good, and I would actually put him in this tier above Bo. Players like Huntsman, I would put Huntsman in this tier probably, but at the very bottom. I can already see people being really fucking pissed that I've grouped them up with other players, but you gotta remember this is just a vague thing, like a very general sense. It's harder when you go down the list to make to distinguish, how good somebody is compared to somebody else. Hooded is really good. I would say he's probably in this tier as well. Roman, Yobalite. Oh, JPX. Where do I put JPX? JPX I would put probably in this tier. And I would put him probably above American Patriot, but lower than Quabbles. Yeah, let's see. We got OJ. OJ, I feel like, has proven himself a lot lately. I don't want to take away from him, but I do think that he could lose to someone like Antoine, Hotline, Cobra, Beef. Let's Go for sure. Let's Go is really good versus Falcon, it seems. That's Fox. Caesar, I think, would beat OJ. So Spongy could beat OJ, I think. I would probably put him somewhere above Huntsman, if I had to guess. That's OJ. Bring these two down again. So, all right. So let's see if I can put anybody that's console back on this list. That's pretty much it for the people that I want to rank on console. No one really stands out to me to where I need to put them in a tier. Some of these players aren't that active, or I don't see them enough, so I don't really feel strongly enough. I will say that I feel strongly about MTW, and I would put him probably right here. I would probably put MTW right here. Whereas you can see he was like, what, 51? Yeah, I'm not putting him that low. I think Empty's really good. Shown a lot of stuff. Someone like a Dishir Wan doesn't play often. Recently had Smash Oktoberfest. That's cool. Soto, I don't see enough. West Coast plays Samus. Does alright. Don't really feel strongly enough to tier him anywhere. Waxy Joe. I'll probably put Waxy. In terms of skill level, I would put him probably, I want to say, first of all, I want to put Hooded here and Huntsman below him. And then I want to put Waxy right below OJ. This year one, BW, Raz. Raz has improved a lot. Don't know if I want to... Yeah, I don't think Raz is in this tier. I think Raz is actually slightly better than Roman and Yobolite at this point. So I'll put him in a new tier in between this because I don't think he's as good as these guys. But, you know, Raz is beating somebody like Sheeman. You know, so like it's all subjective in what you value. Sheeman's like 2 tiers ahead of him on my list, and he's beating him. But also, one head-to-head is not that big of a deal. People lose, people win. You got somebody like a Blugo. I think Blugo would probably be like above Yobolite at this point, but probably worse than Roman. I would put Shears probably. Shears when he's actually playing well and not just fucking being, oh, I lost 7 matches before this. I don't really care what happens. That kind of Shears. Shears is actually fucking solid. And I would actually bet on him to beat Roman, Blugo, and Yobolite if he was on his grind with Yoshi. I don't know enough about Mad Rush, so I think I'm done with that side. Yeah, I think I'm done with the console side. I guess I will put Wolf here as well because I know enough about Wolf, and I will put him. I will put Wolf. Yeah, I'll put Wolf right after Waxy Joe. Wait, did I just fuck that up? Yeah, okay. Okay. Alright, so let me look at this list, and then I think that's about it. K-Rool. Where would I put K-Rool? I think K-Rool is really fucking good. If I had, sometimes I feel like he doesn't play to his potential, but if I had to put him somewhere, I would probably put him at the top of this list. Probably put Neil here somewhere in some capacity. He's probably better than Yobolite at this point. And then we got Box as well. Who I need to rank. would put Box somewhere in this tier. Probably right after Caesar. Now we have somebody who has been on the rise in ETAB. I think ETAB is probably in this tier as well, but he's improving really fast, and I can see him making the jump to this tier pretty soon. But for the sake of this one, I will put him probably right after Empty. Just move this down. Yeah, right after Empty. That's where I would put. That's where I think he would hit a wall. E-tab here. And then we have someone like ePad who has also been on the rise. And I think ePad is slept on. So I think ePad, I would put probably put ePad like, I want to say right after Spongy. Did I rank Andykins? Yes, I did. Okay, that's good. Crovey. Crovey is somebody who I don't play enough, but from what I've watched, he looks really good, and I would put him in this tier probably at the bottom of it. So, let's see if I can get this right. Motherfucker. Yeah, I would put Crovey probably put Crovey here and then put Bo below him. Got somebody like the Yid as well, who I have not. Then I have Marvels too. It's kind of hard to rank some of these players. If I had to put the Yid somewhere, it would probably be. It would probably be somewhere around here, maybe right before Shears. Honestly, it feels wrong to put Roman in that same tier as these guys, so I'm going to move him back up, and then I will also put Marbles there. But Marbles I will put for these guys and after Raz. Bluego, Roman, Hooded, K-Nut I don't know enough about, but I imagine he's probably, what did I do? I imagine he's probably somewhere in this tier as well. If not bottom of this tier from when I've played him, he seems like pretty good. Frank. Where can I put Frank? I will put Frank in this tier as well. And I would say probably after OJ. Yeah, I would put Frank after OJ. Maybe above OJ, but it's all the same tier. Yeah, someone like Durstuck, I'm not going to rank Durstuck. Don't know enough about him. Don't play him enough. And I think that's it. So here's my list. We got Isaiah, Kiro, Wizrobe tier. We got the next tier. Myself, Josh, KD3, HammerHeart, Jaime, Hero Pie, and LD. Quapples, Oh, sorry, not Quapples. I'm just reading the rank side. Then we have Finio Dogs, Johnson, SKG, Frey, Sheeman. Then we have Revan, Janko, Caleb, Fire Blaster, EG, Raichu, Quapples, JPX, American Patriot, Andykins, Lodo, CTG, Crovy, Bo. Then we have K-Roll, Antoine, Hotline, Empty, ETAB, Cobra, Beef, Let's Go, Caesar, Box, Spongy, EPAD, OJ, Frank, Waxy Joe, Wolf, Hooded. This is a big ass tier. Huntsman, Raz, Marbles, the Yid, Shears, Roman. And then this is the last tier. And I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. If you have any comments, if you think I'm fucking wildin', if you think my opinion's stupid, I would love to hear your comments. Obviously, this is all in good fun. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I love having these conversations. I think it's just fun. It's just a video game. Who gives a fuck, right? Tell me your thoughts, your comments. Also, this is going to be my first video, so subscribe and let me know what you guys think. Tweet at me, whatever it is. Just give me some feedback on what I can change throughout the video, and if you guys would like to see another topic, I would love to cover it. This is a pretty long one, and I'm not going to edit it, so sorry about that, but I don't feel like editing it, and I don't have the time to do it right now because it's going to be my birthday weekend, and I want to get this video out. So thank you guys for watching. Peace.